Welcome to Reality Tea Times 2, the podcast where we discuss all the trash reality TV we love to hate. I'm Tanika, and we are going to be discussing Young, Famous, and African. So we don't have anything to discuss off the top. We're just going to jump right into the episode. Okay, so we are with Zari and Luis. And Luis is relaying this story with the situation with Bohang. And again, I'm thinking his story is consistent. His story has never changed, which makes me think, okay, what he's saying, there's nothing wrong with what he is saying. He isn't saying anything wrong. But of course, yeah. So then we're with Swanky and Annie. Dun, dun, dun. They're finally meeting. Oh boy. Okay, so here we go, guys. So Swanky brings up the voice note and the fact that Annie shared the voice note with everybody. And she apologizes. She says, shouldn't have shared it. I'm sorry. And whatever. And so Swanky is trying to talk about what made him upset. And Annie said that it's a lie. She never said that he shouldn't be part of it. And is also that at that point kind of talking in circles about this whole thing. And I'm not going to say she's purposely trying to do that. I think Annie is very eccentric, but it does come across as her trying to avoid the situation at hand. And I actually said, she's not addressing the issue. She's not addressing his issue. But again, she apologizes. And he kind of says, he doesn't know if he can really accept her apology. He doesn't know if her apology is actually genuine. So in this moment, you think, okay, well, this was for nothing because they really haven't progressed anywhere. He's choosing not to kind of accept it. And he kind of says, their friendship is kind of fractured at this point. It's not going to be what it used to be. So past that, now, Nadia and Connie, they're meeting up. And Nadia tells Connie what happened with the whole situation with, I believe she was talking to her about the conversation with Tubaba and what he said. Well, yeah. And then Luis shows up. The naked shows up. And then Luis tells everyone about what happened at his little get together with everybody. And, and again, we're not going to rehash everything. But again, if you know from the last episode, they were talking about the voice note was brought up and the fact that it was shared. Swanky outing Fantana. And then obviously Luis isn't going to say anything about what he said to Fantana, but kind of, filling everybody in. So that's kind of done and over with. That Kayleigh and Naked are going to be hosting a polo event. Everyone is there, basically. Okay, everybody, everyone that I've mentioned, everyone's there. Except for Bohang, I don't think she's there yet. If she does show up, she's not there yet. But Swanky and Annie, well, guys, they hug. They hugged. And I think, again, if you saw the first season and you saw their friendship, you're just like, oh my God, you guys, you hugged. Is it going to be squashed? No, it's not squashed yet. But anyways, okay, so Zari says that Andile and her can't go on. You know, that's kind of done and over with. I mean, duh, you kind of know this already. Um, and then Fantana brings up the fact that Diamond told her that Zari wanted to have another baby with Diamond. Here's my thing. But actually, before we even get into that, before I even get into my thoughts on this, Zari asked Fantana if she's jealous. So Fantana says no, she's not jealous. But here's my thing. Here's my thoughts now. Even I kind of rehashed this a little bit when this was brought up. Even if this is true, number one, Diamond should never have said anything. Number two, it's no one's business what Zari and Diamond may choose to do. That's their business. Number three, Fantana, the only reason you're bringing it up is because you are jealous. You have a problem with their relationship and their dynamic. It's the only reason you bring it up. And you should never have brought it up. It is not your place to bring it up. It's not your business. This man is, at the end of the day, still the father of her two children. Who are you to bring this up? Just because, okay, I'm sorry, I'm gonna get a little crass here, but just because he's stuck it in you a couple times, now you think you have the authority to say something to the mother of his children? You turned on a relationship. You said this yourself. So why are you bringing this up? I'd have a problem with her too and say, listen, little girl, mind your business. This is not your business. What goes on between me and the father of my children, it's not your business. Step all the way off. And again, all this for Diamond. Anyway, Swanky and Nadia, they talk. And they talk about his meeting with Annie. And he says straight up, I don't buy the apology. He doesn't feel validated by her apology. And this is how you know this has not been squashed. We're not done. So then Luis and Fantana, they talk again. And he apologizes for what he said. That he wasn't trying to, I don't know, come across as a martyr. I don't know. But he wasn't trying to be a jerk. He just cares about her and doesn't want her to be used and abused, I guess, as maybe he has seen other women get used and abused. Remember, him and Diamond have an ex in common. So, Fantana tells Luis to talk to Bohang. Yeah, that needs to happen. That needs to happen. And she said, like, listen, I want you to talk to her because she's like a big sister to me. I really care about her. So I'll go on this date with you if you talk to her. Now she's giving him an ultimatum. Luis, if a woman gives you an ultimatum, she doesn't like you. Move on. You can do better. Because here's my thing. If I like a person, I don't give a shit how you might be with someone who I consider a friend or whatever. I don't care. I can look past that because I'm a grown ass woman. Does it make me feel good if you have tension with somebody? Yeah, maybe, I don't like that. I have dealt with it before. I will admit I have dealt with that in my relationships in the past. However, that's for y'all to figure out. That's not for me to figure out. You don't like him, you don't like her, that's fine. Y'all can figure that out. At the end of the day, like, that is my friend. She's not going nowhere. You're my man. You might go somewhere. Spoiler alert, he did. Me and him are together. But it had nothing to do with that. Had nothing to do with that situation. I'm not going to let that dictate my relationship. But if you do let dictate your relationship, well, she's really doesn't maybe that into you. But anyway, next scene, we see Fantana is video calling Diamond. We're trying to video call Diamond. He doesn't answer. And she leaves a message for him, and that's about it. And it's making me think again. You say you're just having fun with this guy. There's so much more going on than you just having fun with him. Obviously, because if you come for his baby mom the way you did, there's definitely more going on here. But anyway, next scene, everyone is meeting up again without Annie. Annie's not there. And Swanky has an announcement. Says that Bohang exited the WhatsApp group. So I guess everyone has they have a WhatsApp group with everybody in it. She left the group and says that she doesn't want to hang out with anyone anymore. And he's actually very upset about this. He actually gets very angry about the fact that she didn't feel welcomed from the very beginning. She never felt welcomed, and I said, "Well, Swanky, are you trying to replace your new best friend? Are you trying to replace Annie? This is what this is all about. You're not upset that she didn't feel welcomed. You're upset because you can't get a new best friend. How about you fix the situation with your best friend, your real best friend, instead of trying to replace her?" And in this moment, I'm thinking, okay, now I feel bad for Luis, because Luis was going to talk to Bohang and air out everything. And I think this would have dealt with the situation. It would have squashed this weird thing going on between Luis and Bohang. And also would have gotten him his date. But that's the end of episode 5. We're going to jump right in to episode 6. Okay, so now we are jumping into episode 6, called Oh Baby. And trust me, it's not that exciting. Not that kind of exciting. Anyway, so for the title of this episode, Luis is talking with Connie, and he brings up the fact that he wants to have a baby. Okay, cool. But then he brings up Zari and her interest in having a baby. So here's the thing. If Zari wants to have another child with Diamond, obviously they're not going to do it the old-fashioned way. They're not together. But they're probably going to go through an IVF type situation, right? So this is why Luis brings Zari up. He brings up the fact that he too would go the IVF route and have a surrogate. But the problem is that he doesn't relay that very well to Connie, and makes it look like he wants to have a baby with Zari. So in the moment, you're thinking, that's what's going on? Why is he bringing Zari up? But I can maybe understand that. He kind of says, like, I want to let's do research together. Again, oh God. Listen, if this is the route that someone decides to go, not even so much, not even that, let's just say broadly, when someone decides they want to have a child or another child or whatever, that is so personal. You don't really discuss all of the nooks and crannies of making that happen if you have to go through a lot in order to get pregnant. You know, that's just, again, very personal between you and your partner. You might share the fact that you want to have a child and that, you're with people that you're close with. And you might say, like, this is something we're starting or whatever the case may be. But the nooks and the crannies of how, like, what that happens, how that happens, or we got to go through to make that happen. You don't share that with everybody. You don't research shit with people. Like, what? Do that on your own. You're grown. Do it on your own. You might share things with close people that you feel comfortable with, but not with a complete stranger. But what I will say is this will make sense. Luis's decisions to want to include other people that he is not that close with. This comes back. This will make sense. And what made me be like, okay, you're back in my good graces again. But we'll get there. We're not there yet, but we do get there. Okay, so Swanky and Kayleigh, they meet up and they talk about what happened between him and Annie. Again, we're not going to rehash it. He just kind of rehashes what happened. And Kayleigh's a good person. She's really good about not taking sides, especially with these two, because she knows both of them. She likes both of them. She's friends with both of them. So yeah. So Nadia and Connie, they talk about Swanky and about this whole situation with Swanky. Again, my memory is really bad here in terms of what happened between this conversation, but obviously I think it's so tough because I think Nadia is definitely taking the side of Swanky because she's not as close with Annie now. Connie is not as close with Annie now either, but like you can kind of tell that maybe Connie's not trying to take sides as much, but it's a hard situation, I think, that everybody's kind of in. Anyway, Luis and Fantana go on a date. He took her to a dance class. And we learn here that Fantana can't dance. She says, I can twerk, but I can't dance. But, it seems to be going good. The date seems to have gone really good, and it's really good to see. But someone does bring up, I can't remember who it is, but someone does say that they need a one-on-one with Swanky. Both these people need a one-on-one with Swanky, so I don't know who said it. I can't remember. But both of these people. But the problem is that I think Fantana needs her one-on-one probably because she outed her about Diamond. And then Luis needs the one-on-one, but he doesn't know he needs the one-on-one. So it's probably Fantana. That says she needs this one-on-one with Swanky, but anyway, date goes good, and she seems to, he seems to have won her over a little bit. And then Andile and Naked, they meet up, and Andile says that him and Zari broke up. And I said, sir, broke up. When were you guys together? You guys were never together. If you guys were together, that's a fault of production. Y'all should have told us this. Y'all should have told us this if they were actually a couple. That is a miss. But anyways, he then says that he felt like he was a pawn in Zari's game. You know what? I can see what he's saying. I think he definitely could have been a pawn in her game on Diamond. This is why I say there's this weird dynamic between these two people. If y'all want to be together, then be together. stop playing this game. But I can also understand why Zari wouldn't want to be with him because he's a player. He hasn't grown up yet. But anyway, so Andile, Annie, two Baba, and one of Andile's baby moms. One of them. Guys, this comes back. Um, they meet up. You kind of see the chemistry between Andile and this baby mom. Now, I can't remember which one it is because I kind of get confused. And the thing is these two women kind of look the same. They're both very beautiful Black queens and they look very similar. So I get very confused of which one is which. But here's what I'll say. And one of the names we will get their names later on. So this will help a little bit. But what I will say is that one, he claims that they're best friends. His first wife, I think he was married to both of them. Actually, no, sorry. He was married to one of them. He wasn't married to the other one. They're best friends. Who he had his first children with, his first set of children. So, but he doesn't have, they said there's no like love there on his side. Okay. Then there's the other one who he was with after this wife, who he had more children with. But he said that their relationship kind of faltered a little bit. It kind of broke apart because he had a you, me, and my ex situation with the first one. And that created some problems. And they broke up. Now, he's still in love with the second one and potentially wants to get back with her. Now, I'm kind of going ahead a little bit. This does come back a bit, but I just want to get it all out there now. And he kind of wants to get back with her. We do find out as well that the two baby moms were close at one point, then weren't. So, anyways, I can't remember which one he's with because, again, he has great chemistry with both of them, but in his mind, different chemistries with the two of them. So, and again, I'm only coming from his perspective at the moment. So, after that, Zari and Connie, they meet up. And Connie tells Zari what Luis said to her about the baby. And the fact that, again, she portrays it in a way that he's basically saying, let's have a baby with Zari. Zari's not pleased. I mean, would you be? I would, if that is how if you really did say it that way, I wouldn't be pleased either. I'm not a baby making machine. I'm not here at your disposal, sir. What the hell? So now that I'm kind of going through my notes, I believe the ex that Andile was with was the second one. So Andile meets up with Rosette. That is his first baby mom. It's the first woman. And in this moment, you kind of can see both of his baby moms want him back. They both want him back. And I can't remember us, and I might be going ahead, but if this is the time, then I'm thinking we might as well say it now. But he meets up with Rosette to basically get her blessing to try to make things work with the second one, whose name I don't have yet. We will get there. We do get her name, but he wants her blessing. And she kind of says, like, why do you need my blessing? Like she's kind of, and she also in the same breath of why do you need my blessing to be with her, also says, dude, I'm right here. The best thing that ever happened to you is right here. So why are you ignoring me? Why? And she's, guys, when I say she is beautiful, she is beautiful. I don't get why he doesn't want to be with her either. I don't get it. I don't get it. I mean, if I had to say, she is, and again, looks aren't the only thing, but what I mean, like, I understand maybe why he would have been with the second one. Like, she's beautiful too. But this one, way out of his league. Not that he's a bad looking guy, he isn't. But like, way out of his league. And she wants you, sir. I don't get it. Anyway, then we're at Zari's birthday party. Andile was invited. And he invited Rosette without asking Zari. Not only did he invite Rosette without asking, he also invited the other one. And I'm thinking, are you nuts? You're inviting two baby moms to another person's birthday party who you also had a thing with. This man is off his rocker. Anyway, so his exes, the second one, so we have Rosette, is baby mom number one, also his ex-wife. Then we have baby mother number two. Her name is Siba. And she shows up. And now Rosette, first of all, let me also go here. Rosette didn't know that Siba was going to be there. Siba didn't know that Rosette was going to be there. This guy is so fucking dumb. And he said the reason he's doing this is because he wants Rosette and Siba to get along so that if Andile does get back with Siba, everything is great in the world. It's fine, right? Men are dumb. Anyway, so Siba and Rosette are going at it because neither knew that the other one was going to be there. I mean, you're doing this all at Zari's party. I'd be so mad. So Siva says that she felt that there was no boundaries between Rosette and Andile. Okay. Again, they should have been on another show called You, Me, and My Ex. So we then find out that maybe Siba felt the way she did because she accuses Rosette. Okay, sorry, other way around. Rosette accused Siba of cheating on her husband with Andile. And yeah, I don't know if that's true. Siba denies that. But anyway, we never really know where the truth lies there. But and again, like Andile is like, oh god, this is falling apart, blah blah blah. But I'm like, but sir, you invited them. You couldn't invite them to your house, and y'all could have squashed this out in your time. Anyway, and of course, as I mentioned in a previous episode, Swanky is fashionably late, per usual. And here we go. Luis literally asks Zari for her eggs. Guys, so maybe there was more to this than we knew, but he literally asked Zari for her eggs in front of everyone. And he says that this is his gift to Zari for her birthday. So, sir, you're trying to tell me that me having to go through a fairly painful procedure of retrieving my eggs is a gift for me? Okay. Luis ends up leaving after because Swanky goes in on him. Swanky goes in on him. And yeah, he leaves because he's like, I'm not dealing with this. But before Luis leaves, he kind of does leave and then comes back, if I remember this correctly, and confronts Swanky. And he says, Swanky, you're fake. Yeah, actually, I would agree. Swanky is fake. At least this season, Swanky is fake. I didn't have any issues with Swanky in the first season, but in this season, I'm like, Swanky, man, you're falling apart at the seams, and it's hard to watch. But instead of Luis leaving, Swanky leaves instead. So he came late, he left early. But yeah, that's the end of that episode. But we're not done this episode yet. Surprise, guys, we're going to do episode 7 as well. So again, if you haven't watched episode 7 and you want to watch episode 7 before listening, you can pause this, watch episode 7, and then come back and listen to the rest of the podcast. So we're going to jump into episode 7, titled Trailer Proposal. Oh boy, guys, this episode is really interesting. So the group is going to Cape Town. And guys, just right off the bat, Cape Town is gorgeous. I am dying to go to Cape Town. And one day I will. One day it's gonna happen. But so Swanky brings a gift for Luis. So they have traveled to Cape Town. They're there. And Swanky he came after her, buddy. And he comes with a gift, like I said, for Luis. And it's a t-shirt. Okay. It's a t-shirt that he brought in an Adidas bag. Okay, let me repeat. Swanky brought a gift for Luis in an Adidas bag. Okay. And the t-shirt, it says 78 persons in you, be real. This is what the t-shirt says. It says 78 persons in you, be real. Shade. And Luis takes it with grace. He really does. He took it with grace and he said, thank you for the gift. When inside he is seething. But and then Andile, Fantana, Rosette, and Luis, they go for lunch and they're talking about the situation with the eggs that Luis brought up with Zari. And Fantana brings up to Luis that it upset her that he brought this up. And yeah, I mean, I get that. It would upset me too. But again, Fantana, you're playing the field. So how can you be upset? How can you be upset with everybody? Yet want nobody at the same time. It's so weird. Anyway. Nadia and Connie, they're walking on the beach and they end up joining Naked and Kayleigh. And then Swanky and Siga, I think I said her name right. I think I said her name right before. But anyways, they show up and they're talking about Andile. But from my memory, there's not really much here to talk about in terms of this conversation they have about Andile, but I think she's kind of saying, like, you know, maybe she can see something with him again. But anyway, moving on. Then Luis and Andile talk. And they're talking about the egg situation. And this is when, for me, anyways, I can't speak for anyone else, but for me, I started to shift with Luis again. I started to shift back to the, okay, I like you now. Luis tells us that he was excommunicated from his church because he had sex when he was 21 years old. God fucking forbid that someone has sex when they're 21. You're an adult, you know? But anyways, he got excommunicated because of this. And because he was excommunicated, this also put a strain on his relationship with his family. And he doesn't really have much of a relationship with his family now that he had been excommunicated. And he's actually not from South Africa. I can't remember where he said he's from, but he is not from South Africa. So he doesn't have a lot of family. I think he said he's close with one family member who I believe might be a cousin, but other than that, he doesn't have much of his family around him. And he tells us that this is why he wants to have children. He basically wants to create his family because the family he had, he no longer has. And in this moment, you're like, oh my goodness, like me, when he was talking about this, I was crying. I'm like, oh my gosh, this poor man, like, he's literally trying to create his family because he doesn't have one. And he said that he doesn't want to be alone. And I'm thinking, like, this man needs therapy. And I'm going to come from, obviously, we're talking about, Black men, African people, Black people. And especially when it comes to Black men, we need to stress to our men that therapy is okay. Therapy is needed if you need it. I think everyone needs therapy, but it's okay that you might feel anxiety. You mentally might not feel 100%. You might feel depressed. You might feel all those things. And it is okay to not experience those things on your own. That therapy doesn't make you weak. If anything, it makes you strong. And I think that is so important, especially when we very tragically lost Twitch for similar reasons. Despite all of the tinfoil hat theories that have gone on around his death, which I am not going to give any credence to or anything to, because I think that's all bullshit. But when you have that happen and you find out it is because he was depressed, and he, in his mind, his only way to relieve that was to do what he ended up doing, it's was such a wake up call and such tragic. It was tragic. There were no words. And it just kind of, again, goes to show that there's so much work that needs to be done with our Black men, and that that it is okay to get therapy. But before I get emotional, we're gonna jump into another scene. So Andile and Siba, they go off on their own and they talk about their relationship. And she tells him, like, listen, there's possibility here. There's definitely possibility here. But I think that you need to figure some things out. I think you need to have some discussions, aka with Rosette. I think those things have to happen. And maybe there's something here. And you know what? I was very impressed by her. I think that was definitely the way to go, because she doesn't want history to repeat itself. She doesn't want them to be in a relationship and then here comes Rosette, you know, kind of raining on their parade. I get it. I think that was 100% the way to go. Andile talks to Swanky in the next scene, and he talks to him about this whole egg situation. Andile, sorry, let's go back a little bit. Andile tells Swanky, without telling Swanky everything, saying, like, listen, you need to talk to Luis. I think there's a lot here going on with him. And, you know, this needs to be addressed differently. And Swanky says, like, he can talk to me. He doesn't talk to me, but he can talk to me. And I think to myself, well, Swanky, how can he? He's never really given an opportunity to talk. He's never given an opportunity to talk. If anything, people are talking for him and not giving him the opportunity to talk for himself. And I do partially put that on Luis, because you kind of see with Luis is that he takes such a back seat with everybody. He doesn't want to ruffle feathers, I think. But you are in a group of people who are ruthless. And you need to be ruthless alongside with them in order for people not to walk all over you. But again, Swanky doesn't seem to have any sympathy towards Luis at all. And again, I think that Swanky is incapable of having any kind of sympathy for anybody right now, because he's in a world of hurt himself at the moment. But so then Naked and Kayleigh, they're doing their own thing, and they're talking about marriage and whether or not marriage is an option for them. And Kayleigh very much wants to be married, I would think. She makes it pretty clear that she wants to be married, whereas Naked, he is very anti-marriage. I believe he has been married twice, and it failed each time. And he is scared of marriage. He doesn't say that, but he's clearly very scared of marriage and scared of what that commitment means. He seems committed to Kayleigh, but I think like marriage is a whole separate thing, and that scares him. But Connie and Naked, they talk about next steps between Naked and Kayleigh. And he talks about the fact that, like, she wants to be married and he's scared and blah, blah, blah. And Connie proposes an idea to Naked. And she calls it a trailer proposal. Now she says, because again, he's like, what the hell's a trailer proposal? And I'm also like, what the hell's a trailer proposal? What is this? It's basically the equivalent of a promise ring. That's what a trailer proposal is. The trailer proposal is it's like the trailers at a movie before you actually get the movie. That's what she says it is. And I said, listen, promise rings never worked for nobody. How's a trailer proposal going to make it any better? And I said, no, this is a bad idea. This is a really bad idea. Um, and then in the next scene, Swanky talks to Luis about, the issues that they're having. And they end up going back to everybody, the whole group. And they're going to also hash out whatever issues they have. And Luis ends up telling everyone about his past and what he ended up telling Andile. And it seems like everyone is understanding him. It seems that everyone has sympathy for him. It seemed like this went very well, this conversation that they had. So, and my only last note is South Africa is beautiful. Anyway, that's it. That's it for this episode. The next episode, we only have 2 more episodes left. So that's episode 8 and episode 9. Yeah, so, and then we will be done with Young, Famous, and African. And we will be done with our Netflix binges until, I guess, Love is Blind, I guess, until that comes back. So yeah, again, if you enjoyed what you heard, please share with everyone the gift of reality tea times 2. And also, if you liked us, you can please follow us, subscribe to our podcast on any of your favorite podcast apps. You can also rate and review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. We would greatly appreciate that. That helps with the growth and getting us out there to everybody. Also, if you prefer to listen to YouTube or you prefer to be on YouTube, you can listen to our podcast on YouTube, A Reality Tea times 2. All the information for YouTube will be in our show notes. You can also follow us, like us on Facebook and Instagram. And you can also direct message us as well on Facebook or Instagram at Reality Tea times 2. You can also go to our website where you can listen to all of the episodes, and you can also get links to our Facebook page, Instagram page, YouTube page. All of that information will be in our show notes. And yeah, I think that's it for now. And again, we will be back with the last episode, which we will be covering 8 and 9 of Young, Famous, and African. Okay. Thank you guys. Bye.